Gives me great pleasure to talk about the next generation travel assistant. It's Matthias Keller, who will be interviewed by Matt Marshall of VentureBeat. Please give them a warm, warm welcome.
Welcome, Matthias.
Hi.
Matthias. So you may have seen Matthias yesterday. He demoed flawlessly the Amazon Echo and buying a $400 hotel ticket in Miami Beach or wherever it was.
Right, and I think we never doubted that would not work, right?
Yeah, there was no doubt that it was going to work. So congratulations on that. It was seamless. So yeah, I wanted to start with maybe just setting the scene here in terms of how you're approaching some of these technologies, right? We've talked about AI being kind of a portfolio of technologies. There's NLP, there's machine learning. Can you talk a little bit about how Kayak is approaching that? You're the chief scientist, right?
Yes. So let me start really back with the history of Kayak. So there have always been a lot of machine learning problems in the way how we serve our results as a search engine, but many of them have been behind the scenes. And now with these AI assistants, and let's call it chatbots and voice assistants, it's suddenly coming into the front line, into the front end. You can suddenly see that there is AI. And we are thinking of this technology right now. What we showed yesterday was one example. It's very early. There is so much to do, but we see that AI can improve travel in all the three areas that we are concerned about, which is the discovery of where would you want to go, the actual booking of finding and booking, and then also the post-booking phase of you are traveling right now and you need help, you need information, you need any sort of augmented knowledge on that makes your trip better. And we're trying to use AI in all of these three areas. We have worked right now most on the booking and going more towards the post-booking. But also there is so much to do in discovery that we would like to solve with it.
Great. So booking and discovery. So the Echo is obviously a big part of that. So you're the chief scientist at Kayak, a very innovative company. I think a younger company than some of the big travel brands. Could you talk about the extent to which you have focused on the Echo? I mean, roughly what percentage of your investments in terms of your work is spent on that particular platform?
So it is. Let me explain how it all came together. So the overall project, I think, within Kayak is the investment in natural language processing.
Yeah.
Alexa was, from a timing and the leadership of Amazon, the perfect platform to jump on. We are now in the NLP space for about 2 years.
Okay.
We found it very important for us to work on it in-house because it allowed us to scale globally. Like, for instance, at some point we launched in Korea, we launched in Germany, which is not yet available with the, let's say, stock tools.
Yeah.
And it is important for us, and natural language processing, like if you talk about AI, let's say computer vision, natural language processing, there is not so much computer vision for us to do right now, but natural language processing is something where we really want to have a leadership position because there are so many things that can be done with that technology in travel.
Can you elaborate a little bit around the relationship between you and Amazon on the natural language side of things, right? Because we heard from Swami. Did you see Swami's presentation this morning?
I think yes.
With Polly,
yes, of course,
and Lex, maybe a little less relevant on the voice, but I just find it interesting that you're working in-house. But how much do you cede to Amazon, and how much can you push that experience forward with something you've developed in-house, right? That experience of natural language.
So the interesting interaction here is that it is very true that for Amazon Lex, which is this great service for many developers, it does some part of the work for you, and we're doing that work ourselves when we talk about running services on Facebook or Slack or the Google Assistant. What it does for us is that Amazon has been a wonderful partner for us as a business because they really helped us establishing this vision and helping us how to build this assistant that it really works in a live demo.
Yeah.
And this was not anything staged or something like that. There are also so many things that can go wrong in voice interactions, and we know that because it's so early. And we spent a lot of thought together with them in figuring out what do we need to do to make these things happen. And at some point, natural language processing only becomes this core stack of your technology, but the much more important part is the UX, or let's call it the VX probably, which is a conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. And thanks, by the way, for demoing it, because we have been, as VentureBeat, pushing for, to the extent possible, live demos to keep it uncanned, right? So instead of the videotape, and you were able to get permission from Amazon, which is obviously concerned about the experience publicly, so thank you. But the other thing that I discovered was that you are the first travel company to actually do booking on Echo. I don't think there's any other company that allows you to book. You're a smaller company than TripAdvisor, Expedia. Why were you first? Could you talk a little bit about how you were first, given that it also took you, what, 6 months to a year to actually get off the ground?
I think there are a multitude of reasons. I think the first reason is that if you look how Kayak initially came together, it was about fixing something that was broken, which was booking travel online 13 years ago. And we kept our culture of being this kind of like small, big startup, of moving really fast and changing direction whenever we need to change direction. We have the luck that we have a lot of super smart, super engaged people working at Kayak. And I think for us, as Kayak also, when you talk about the size, I wouldn't call it a lifeline, but I think innovation is very important for us and we want to invest now because we want to help making this AI travel assistant happen. And we know we cannot get from like 0 to 1 in one immediate step. There will be these little baby steps, like being able to book hotels now. But we want to keep doing that, and it's not only depending on us, so it's not only a problem of us putting more people around it. There are some much harder controllable problems like the supplier side, the payment, and all kind of services that need to come around. And we want to show that doing travel on these platforms makes sense, and we want to try to convince others to work towards that and helping us making it happen.
Mm-hmm. Is the jury still out? Do you think? I mean, clearly, you've just launched this solution, but you're buying high-priced ticket items like travel. Is the jury pretty much still out that this isn't a proven model, right? That this will actually succeed over time, or do you think that this is definitely going to happen, right? Where people are going to buy $200, $300 hotel tickets on the Echo.
So I think it's definitely going to happen, and I also think it's definitely going to happen that we get our flight tickets on the Echo. Yeah. Especially since flights would even be the much easier product for the consumer. Like, what is a Delta flight? Very obvious. But what is Hotel Bellevue? You don't know, right? Yeah. I think it's definitely going to happen. How this is going to get traction, I'm hoping we are going to see soon probably early adopters trying it out. Our first, let's say, more focused target group is rebooking. I think that's what you hear generally in the industry, that on voice, rebooking simple items like toilet paper works very well, while buying a TV, maybe not. Yeah. And we think that, and this is also what we showed in the demo, that basically you know what you're going to get.
That's what you demoed, yeah.
Yes.
You knew your hotel, the W hotel?
W, South Beach.
South Beach.
And I may have booked it before. I may know that $400 is a good price. I may know the room, and why would I not do it there? And I think also what you have seen yesterday, we didn't time it, but it was so much easier and so much faster. Yeah. Instead of pulling out the app, getting distracted. The internet is always like perfectly clean when you use a website these days, and all these things are just abstracted away on voice, and it's this clear things that you get done.
Yeah. So $400 is a good price. I'd like to be a chief scientist at Kayak too, to be able to say that's a good price. No, so when I have to Matthias yesterday, I said, did you really spend, because it wasn't canned, right? It was alive, right? Do you really have to go to South Beach and stay in that $400 hotel? I mean, one of the things I think you made clear, I missed it, was that the only bookings you can make right now are cancelable, right? So you're actually
That's correct.
making sure that experience is really good. So you could just literally go back and erase that. So, and I think that gets back to the point. So I could see that happening, but in terms of the flow, do you need the show, right? And I'm understanding you're experimenting with the show, which just came out, where you have the Echo with the screen. Is that what you're going to have to use for the workflow for something you haven't booked already? So you're going to have a new trip, comparison of hotels, price comparisons.
Yeah,
Is
so
that just not going to happen right now?
So when we thought about how we are presenting hotels on voice, so there are a couple of new things happening here on voice. Sort of the first thing is you are shopping a complex product, and during our testing, we once heard this nice example of how in a restaurant somebody would present you a bottle of wine with all the things that this bottle of wine can do. And we were thinking about how would I sell you a hotel room? Like, it's basically it's this wonderful hotel at the beach. It has the ocean view, the balcony, and all that. And we tried to keep it compact, and like the information that we give you right now, which has been reviewed as excellent by more than 2,000 people. It's close to the public garden. This is all meant to be really strong information making the case for that hotel. If it's going to work, is we're going to see. The other interesting thing on voice even is that the maybe harder part is that it is for consumers not so common right now to really buy something on voice. And this is also where the refundable rooms come in, because you may not realize that you just booked something and that this was not any sort of demo or something like that, but that was actually a real booking, and you now should be behind that.
Yeah, yeah. How long do you think it's going to take to find out if this is going to work? The actual experiment on Echo and Show, is it going to take a while?
I think so. Our approach is you often talked about ROI, and I think when thinking about that, I think right now it is an investment. Mm-hmm. You could think about it as a mid-longer term investment, I would say. Mm-hmm. It is an important investment because that's for us the only way to get where we want to be. I think we will soon see, and we will try different things to definitely get people transact regularly on that medium. What it's going to take is hard to say. It went out yesterday, and we now have to look at it, what works, and improve it, and iterate through it, yeah, and bring it more in front of the mind of people.
Yeah, so the travel, I think it's great. You're going to create the perfect travel assistant, right? And we heard that if similar words from eBay, right? They want the shopping assistant. And so, so eBay clearly has some, some scale and some ability to put some serious, wood behind that effort. And with travel, to create that shot, we heard from Swami himself, right? We actually saw that he's basically got these APIs that he's pushing, and he didn't mention Kayak, but he's got the location. He said there was 2 variables that you need for booking travel, right? It's location and time, right? So he's going to serve everyone, and Alexa becomes that personal assistant. So how do you get out from that shadow where so if I'm actually literally talking to Echo and with Alexa, booking Kayak. So at what point do I, as the consumer, associate that actually with Amazon, right? Versus say a Kayak. How do you how do you maintain that travel assistant brand?
So I would answer it from different ways. So first of all, when we heard about the presentation of eBay, it was in a sense described as one endpoint.
Yeah.
And while I would definitely describe Amazon Alexa as a very strong endpoint, it is definitely, we already right now have distribution to Facebook Messenger, Slack, Google Assistant. There may be some other device popping out of the shadow. Siri may get bigger. It is definitely interesting to see, especially like Alexa always talks in the same voice, so like your brand somehow goes away.
Yeah.
What I'm still thinking is that if we can deliver the right experience, and if people hopefully learn that they have to say, ask Kayak to get the better hotel recommendation at the better value, instead of saying ask something else, that's still where we want to be. And I'm also hoping that the discovery is getting much stronger, like just saying, Alexa, I want to book a hotel. Okay, Kayak can help you.
Yeah, good, yeah, it's good. So it's the asking Kayak first on this skill set. And then you talked about the NLP, and we heard that from their other client that Amazon actually showcased this morning, right? Which was the Kelly Blue Book, because they got 100 terms for air conditioning. So you've got your own NLP that's being built into that skill set. Is that essentially? Can you? So you're going beyond Amazon's own NLP and building that in, or is it?
So the interesting thing about our NLP is that when we initially started to build it, we didn't start building it for Alexa. We were thinking of different things like free text input on our website or dictating into our mobile phones. And these were things that didn't catch on so well, so that's why you don't see them today.
Yeah.
But we basically created this conversation system that can figure out what you want to do and all the data we need to start a search to book a room. And it's all based on the premise that the text is already available.
Yeah.
So we never dealt ourselves with speech to text. This is where we completely rely on Amazon Alexa. And also the way how Alexa and Lex work, there is this duplicative work, I would say. But it's still, for instance, like yesterday when I would say W South Beach, there is still matching on our end happening because like it may be in a different name in a database, like matching how you pronounce a hotel and matching how it's actually in our database. So there are still different things happening. It's not pure sort of like translation or just taking what we get. And we also have our own way of keeping this conversation and keeping track where you are, which is not coming from that solution.
Okay, great. Yeah, so thanks for taking us through that. So outside of the Echo, could you talk a little bit about some of the other exciting things you're doing? You talked about wait time at airports when we were talking on the phone. And that or anything else that you're excited about?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, we have these 3 areas of the funnel, and in the post-booking travel part of it, one thing we started last year in November is that we realized there is not much data on TSA wait times. So it exists on some pages, but it's getting stale very quick, and it may be from yesterday, it may be from an hour ago.
Right.
And we're really thinking of so many ways. And the first way we have now is that we know that there are so many people out there every day traveling with our app. So whenever they take their plane, we are asking them, how long did it take you? And the next traveler who also uses our app can look into the app and say, okay, it's 15 minutes. This works great as a start, and we have already a better data set than what's there before, but we still want to have it more seamless. And so one thing we are investigating is how far can we get with indoor navigation data. So it has some sort of like creepy reputation to use background location on mobile phones. But this is actually a use case where we would think that it would help a lot of people if they would just know what it is about. And I just myself, 3 weeks ago, I was traveling and I was close to missing a plane. I was thinking after the first hour of the security check, all right, done. I'll just go to the plane, works out perfectly, until I thought it's 500 people in front of a passport control. So
yeah, it's too late, right? Yeah.
So it is definitely, and on the other time, it's kind of like wasting 2 hours at a boring airport because like just coming there way too early.
Yeah.
And that's a problem that could have a lot of impact if we could give people solid predictions on when they have to leave the house, basically, to catch that airplane.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just curious, can we just show of hands, how many people are say, using the Kayak app? Yeah. Yeah, that's unusual, right? Where you get that sort of show of hands, which is why I was brave enough to ask you. How about off app, right? Desktop, so on, mobile. Yeah, so that's a really good percentage. So I think you've got the kind of the innovator set that they're using the app. So it's interesting that you bring that up because the app paradigm has been under challenge recently. Can you talk a little bit about other things that you're working on outside of say wait times that are going to help you with that distribution challenge?
Another angle we have been looking at, and also a harder problem in a way, is in a discovery channel. So I mean, discovery for a lot of the travel business, it's about sending you the right price at the right time. But there's also the other problem of, let's say you want to do a trip through Europe, and you have 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And you can now spend a lot of manual research to find out where you may go. You can ask your friends. And I mean, I'm not saying you should not do that, because I think it can be very enjoyable of buying a book and things. Yeah. But we're still also thinking of solving that, let's say, in a bot conversation of saying, hey, I want to go 3 weeks to Europe. I definitely want to see Paris. I definitely want to see Stockholm. And I want to have fun in between. And what can I do? And it's a very complex problem, because it involves, you could wrap it as a traveling salesman between, like, in what order do I, like, first of all, you want to figure out where do you want to go. Next thing, how long do I want to stay there? Is this like a 1-day or 4-day city? Yeah. And then it becomes also this traveling salesman of how do I get to all these cities at the minimum cost, which is not so trivial with all the flight prices. Or sometimes you may just take a car. And these are things where we would love to give innovative solutions to travelers. And this can be machine-generated content. This can be half machine, half human curated content. Yeah. But these are all things where we are hoping that this data that we have helps us to understand where people want to go.
Yeah. Yeah, we saw that from Mezi too, right? They attracted me because they actually had humans actually helping you answer on their time for an hour, come back with some solutions there. I wish we had more time to go into some of those things, because they've shifted to more automation too, so they're going through their own journey. But we heard from Hopper yesterday, a lot of innovation in the space. Matthias, I wish we could have had longer. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you.